If you've ever felt like you're living a life that doesn't fit you anymore, I know exactly what that feels like. And that's the number one reason why I'm starting this channel. I had a previous channel. I say previously because I haven't updated it in like, 2, 3 weeks. Getting this garage sale going. I'm standing in the middle of my garage right now, and there's shit everywhere, and it's a big mess. I think my problem with that channel was I was trying to fit into a box way too soon, and I was trying to be like other people and, you know, go in and think I have all my shit together when I don't. And I wanted to start a new one where it's basically me, just no script, just, telling it like it is. But right, this is reality. This is real life on, what it looks like to try and, start over. And, this channel is to essentially go through all the ups and downs of what it takes when you're starting from scratch, when you're trying to start over again. And this isn't going to be something where, I make it seem like it's so easy to make change and for things to work out in the end. And I feel like there's so many videos online where they, make it look like it's so simple to do. Like, oh, I was able to, post this video and I got 1 million views or whatever. And that's just not the reality. And I wanted to make sure I post content where I'm not just talking about something that I think is going to hit or get a lot of views. It's just something that I feel like I wanted to have when, I was going through big changes in my life. And I think this channel is going to be able to kind of be my diary of what I'm going through, and to share with others that are going through big changes in their life as well, so they don't feel like they're alone. I was trying to chase perfection in my other channel, where I was trying to make sure I had all the right edits, the transitions, my background, my lighting, my makeup, how my hair was. I mean, like, I look back on some of the videos and it's like, it doesn't really look like I make that much effort to begin with. And I'm like, look, this is what I'm doing now. Why don't I just document this? I'm sitting in a pile of shit in my garage, and I'm trying to figure out how much stuff costs, what I'm going to sell it for, if anybody's going to want it, should I donate it? Like, this is a big, transition for me right now. And I honestly, I am scared about, what's going to happen in the future. Like, am I making the right decision? But, if I don't chase after it, I'll never know, right? So I'm choosing to document this instead of going after a script, right? I'm choosing to document in real time, what it takes to go through the hard shit and what it looks like on the other side. And I may fall flat on my face. Shit may not work out for me, and, maybe I do like 2 uploads and, it dies out. But, this is what I feel like I should be doing right now. So instead of me fighting it and trying to be a perfectionist and pushing through doing something that, I know in my heart is not truly authentic to me, I'm going to do something that, like, I want to do for me now. Like, that's what I want to do. And my heart was into it on my other channel, but I tried to be too perfect. And I think the reason why it didn't do well is because people could sense that. It was just like, I was trying too hard. It's kind of like that, you meet a person for the first time and they're like super, like two in your face, like, oh, you want to be friends, huh? Like, it's just, it's like, dude, relax, calm down, like, I don't know you like that, like, that's the same thing with these videos. Like, I know I need to do at this time in my life, and I'm gonna make that change, and I'm gonna make that shift. My previous, employer, I got laid off, right? And of course, it feels like it's the end of the world, right? Actually, I got laid off 3 times in my life, but one of the times I got laid off, I thought it was the end of the world. I thought, like, what am I gonna do? I don't have any money. I need to pay my bills. Like, it was just, I was scrambling. Like, all the bad thoughts was going through my head, And I was like, what am I going to do? I have a house to pay for. I have car insurance. I have bills. I got medical bills. I got groceries, gas, like all the things went through my head. And at one point in time, I just thought to myself, like, I'm blowing this out of proportion. Like, yeah, it sucks. But, I kind of thought to myself, well, what's the worst case scenario? What's the worst thing that could happen? Like, okay, I don't get a job, right? I keep applying and I never find a job. Okay, now what? Am I going to be homeless? No. I have family, I have friends, you know what I mean? I know not everybody's in that situation, but I'm just going through the thought process, in my mind on like, what is my worst case scenario if I can't find another job? And my worst case scenario would be, hey, family, hey, friends, I don't have any money. I'm collecting unemployment right now. Can you help me out? Or can I stay with you? But I wasn't going to end up on the streets. And in reality, would I never, ever, ever be able to find a job? The answer was no. It's not going to happen. I'm going to find a job eventually, So I started to let that pressure off. And not even but 3 months later, 2 months later, I ended up finding another job. So all that worrying, all that, spiraling that I did, like, it wasn't even worth it. I lost sleep and I lost, my sanity for that amount of time for nothing, for absolutely nothing. And I'm tired of doing that to myself when I want to chase something that I want. And I always put it off. I always tell myself, no, that's not the responsible thing to do, or no one's ever done this before, so you shouldn't do it. And I always talk myself out of stuff. And it's like, I'm going to be 45 in a few months, right? And at 2 months. Oh my God. I'm going to be 45 in 2 months. And there's a lot of things that I want to do. And I've never got a chance to do them because I was always following the script, following what everyone else did. Like, you get a job, you get a house, you climb the career ladder, you retire, and then you go do all the things that you want to do. When you're like 60, 70 years old, go do the things that you've always wanted to do. Yeah, because, traveling around, other countries and hiking in beautiful trails and everything. That's what 70-year-olds do all the freaking time, right? Like, what if I wanted to be a professional skier? Like, am I gonna do that at 70? No, right? So this is the stuff like I think about, like, not about being a skier, but any kind of dream that you want, and you tell yourself like, oh, not right now, later, because there's all these things that you need to still do first. Like, I can't do this without me getting XYZ done. I don't have enough money, or people are depending on me or counting on me. And there's legit concerns. You can't just drop everything whenever you want. And, people depend on you and you're just like, oh, well, peace out, But, this is the kind of stuff that, like, I feel like people should talk about more, that I don't really see people talk about on YouTube, is when you're making a decision and you don't know if it's going to work out. You don't know. You're just rolling the dice. And right now I'm going to roll the dice. So right now I am getting ready to pack up and leave. And I'm not just talking about moving out of my house and moving into another house. This is a big move where my husband and I have been talking about this for quite some time, and we're finally going to pull the trigger on it. And we are essentially packing up our lives, and we are going to be moving overseas, and we are going to be doing the things that we've been wanting to do for a long time, which is travel. And I want to document on this channel what the struggles are that you go through when you make big decisions like this. And it's not just going to be all the travel video where I show, like, drone footage of, the mountains of wherever I'm at. And it's, oh, wow, you should come out here too. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show the good and the bad. I'm going to show, like, this is what sucks about traveling. This is what sucks about not having a home. And this is what's great about, getting rid of everything you own. This is what sucks about getting rid of everything you own. And this is going to be scary and exciting all at the same time. And, this is starting from the beginning. This is the beginning stages of, what it's like. And, this is it. This is my mess. This is what I got to deal with right now. This is the beginning stages. This is the shit that you got to suck it up and you got to do it. So this is accumulation of over I don't know, 7, 10 years worth of shit that I got to go through with my husband, of course. But, that's one of the things about, trying to make big decisions like this in your life. You've got 1,000 more decisions you got to do, like I got to figure out what's important to me and, what I can, maybe pawn off at my parents' house or my husband's parents' house, because we're not getting rid of like, memories, like pictures and stuff like that. But, this is the type of stuff that I wish I would see more content on when people go through the hard shit. Like, what do they go through to get through the other side? I see a lot of like vloggers talk about this, like, oh, I sold everything and I moved overseas. But they just show like a montage of them like packing up their house. But they don't talk about like all the decisions that went involved before then. Like, there's a lot of shit that I'm dealing with on going through this that, I want to share. So if you ever thought about, a big move like this where you're trying to move overseas or just move to another location, move with your employer or, just not even moving in general, just big decisions in your life that, you may think are too big. And I'm going to show you the messy middle and, what the outcome is. And like I said, maybe I fall on my face and I come back home, and end up living with my parents, like with my tail between my legs. But you know what? At least I tried. At least I went ahead and I said, you know what? I did it. So when I'm 50, 60, 70 years old, I'm not going to think to myself like, shit, I wish I did that. Like I'm getting older and we need to take care of ourselves more. My husband, he has a very laborious job and his body's not gonna be able to take it anymore. Like he's got ailments of his own. And I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, do we really want to take care of a house for the rest of our lives, like shoveling snow? We live in the Midwest in the Chicago area, so it gets cold here, and it's like every year we're like, this sucks. And it's like, if it sucks, why am I here? Like, why don't I just do the things that I want to do? And I'm finally going to pull the trigger and do that. And I have no idea how this is all going to turn out, but I'm going to document it honestly, and we'll see what happens from there. All right. That's it.